But you just said you offered him the biggest heavyweight contract in UFC history.
Mm-hmm.
I think where people, whether it's media or fans, or not fans, but fighters, you have to remember they are allowing, like Dana is saying, we're going to pay you the biggest contract in UFC history. But in the same breath, he says he wants to go fight lesser opponents for more money. How are you the biggest company in the world in MMA and you're not matching what other people are paying? How that's my, like, how can you call yourselves the biggest? I know you are. They are.
Well, I was going to say, hold it. They are the biggest MMA promotion there is.
But this is where I think I have to kind of back the media. And you know how much I hate to do that with the media, and how I want fighters to listen to this, because the logic is he wants to go fight lesser opponents for more money.
No, that's not true.
That's not what he wants. He wants to get paid to fight the best opponents, is what you're saying. He wanted to fight John Jones. But that's the narrative every single time. He wants to fight lesser opponents for more money. Why are you not, if you are the biggest, UFC is the biggest, if you're the biggest, how are you not paying these fighters where they can't go to another promotion? I mean, I don't know where he's going to go. I don't think anyone does. I mean, if he goes to boxing, I would understand why he left. But if he goes to another MMA promotion, they're going to be dishing out a lot of money to pay for him. And I'm just going to be honest, I'd love to have him in Bellator, but I don't see a reason to pay him after we hear his contract, $8 million. I don't see a reason to pay him that to fight our heavyweights.
Well, let's just be honest. It's not about the people he's fighting. It's about what has he done to put himself in this position. Because here's the thing, and Dana just pumped up John Jones, and he should. But I can pull up articles and things where Dana says John Jones doesn't want to fight. He doesn't want to fight the best people anymore. I've heard him say that about John Jones. I've heard him say that GSP doesn't want to fight the best people anymore. I've heard him say that Chris Cyborg doesn't want to fight the best people anymore. I've heard him say that Randy Couture doesn't want to fight the best people anymore. Ben Askren doesn't want to fight in a promotion where he's going to fight the best people. I mean, it's Dana's line. Let's just be honest. He says it all the time. To sit here and say that Francis, and this is where people, look, if you want to buy into the bullshit, go ahead. I don't care. The best part is I worked around that guy for a long time. I know Dana pretty well, and he's a promoter. And if you haven't figured out that he's going to say things that benefit his promotion, which is his job, and he'll tell you what he wants you to hear to make his promotion look better and put a fighter down that is leaving him. He knows he's leaving him. It's not going to do him any harm. I want him to go out with people thinking, oh, this guy doesn't want to fight the best. Now, the truth of the matter is, who is it that Francis wants to fight? He wants to box. He wants in his contract the ability to box Tyson Fury. Again, I don't think it's the best, matchup. I'm just telling you right now. But I do think, and when people sit there and say that, oh, that won't sell, you're wrong.
Yeah,
he'll make a lot of money, a lot more money than that contract that Dana was offering him for the 3 fights or 4 fights, whatever it was going to be. He would make more in the one fight boxing Tyson Fury than he would in that entire contract. So to sit there, he has this is the part that I really don't understand. Do people know where Francis Ngannou came from? Do they understand his story? Because, Josh, let's be honest, his story is amazing. This guy, he crossed a desert, with nothing, and got sent back and then did it again to go and do what he wanted to do. And that's when he got to France and he decided, I'm going to be a fighter, and he started doing things. This guy has got balls of steel. All right. He's not afraid of any human being out there. It's not that someone can't beat him. Anybody can be beat. But to sit there and say, oh, he wants to fight lesser people, that's just not true. The point that you're bringing up, which is very true, is, look, the UFC, this isn't about money. The UFC could have offered him a whole lot more money, and Francis wasn't getting the things that were important to him. He's bringing up, hey, I want to have outside sponsorship. I don't want to wear your cryptocurrency where you're making the money off of it, and I have to wear your shirt. My trainers have to wear your stuff. I have to wear your, Dwayne Johnson, Under Armour tennis shoes. I want to have my own sponsors. I want to be able to put a Nike swoosh or whatever it is, on my trunks. They weren't going to give him that. The other thing he wanted is I want health insurance. Now, they might have actually put something for him individually for health insurance, possibly. They could have done that. Well, then he wanted representation. As soon as that word came out, you go, well, that ain't going to happen. No. Because the UFC doesn't have to do those things for all of their fighters until they get to a point where they have one, like Francis here. And one of the things, look, Francis trains out of Extreme Couture. Who's one of the guys that tried to leave the UFC to go fight better competition? Okay, because that's really what Randy was trying to do at a certain point. He wanted to fight Fedor. That was the big fight. That was the fight that everyone wanted to see. People are, when you go back in time, Josh, think about this. All these people out there, they're saying, it's, if you don't fight in the UFC, you're not fighting anybody. Well, I can remember back when people were saying, well, if you don't fight the Pride, you're not fighting anything. The UFC's heavyweights can't compete. Yes, they could have. Pride had good heavyweights. The UFC had good heavyweights. Good fighters all the way around. And that's the way it still is. You have good fighters everywhere. But for Francis to sit here and get what he wants, it's going to take a lot. You've got the PFL is out there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they can actually afford, to give Francis what he wants and everything there. They can definitely give him the sponsorship stuff. Now they have him wear a certain kind of uniform too. Bellator lets him wear what he wants and he can have all the sponsors he wants. So that part's easy for him. The representation for fighters, I guess the PFL's kind of trying to do that with the Jake Paul thing right now and everything. But you look at this entire situation, it comes down to this. The UFC is the biggest organization there is. But they're going to have to change certain aspects of their business model when they finally get somebody like a Francis who is their champion and doesn't want to fall in line with the status quo of the way things have been business-wise with the UFC. They want something different. The UFC is either going to change it or they're going to continue to lose these people who put it in their mind, I'm willing to walk away. And that's what Francis was willing to do, and that's what he did. He looks at it like, if I sign that contract, I am failing as a not only fighter, I'm failing as a man to give in to something that I know I should get, that everyone else should get. If I'm not willing to stand up for this, then who is? That's really what it comes down to. Randy tried it. He lost a ton of money in legal fees because the UFC just beat him down.
Yeah, but he left while he was still kind of under his contract, correct?
Yeah, because there wasn't that. You got to figure the contracts were different back then. Back then, if you were the champion, you couldn't get out.
Yeah.
Now there is a sunset on it.
100% agree. Okay.